Cheers to today's installment with Pints with Ayre.
Cheers.
Yeah, I'm excited to be back. Missed Colorado, but missed having you with me in Munich. And I think that this would be just kind of a fun opportunity to kind of talk about all the cool things that I got to do and see out there. And maybe you can share some of your past Munich stories with me as well.
Yeah, I definitely missed going this year. Was planning on going and looking forward to going, and it has been for 4 or 5 years. So it's one of my, certainly as far as trade shows go, it's not much of a better venue or city out there, I think.
It was very busy. I mean, just coming, it was my first Munich, and then coming in fresh from AXPONA the month before. I thought AXPONA was big. This is way bigger, and well worth the trip. I mean, if anyone was ever, trying to plan for a singular hi-fi show out of the year to make it to, and they could come to Rocky Mountain Audio Fest, Munich would be my number one choice, for sure. Yep. I mean, there's just so many brands, so many things to see, and just such a great atmosphere. And I love the size of the venue. I mean, for how many people were in attendance. I mean, the convention center was just big enough, it seemed.
Yeah, and there was a little bit of overflow. I know there's some companies that even don't get in. I know there's an offsite. I think I'm not sure if it's officially affiliated with the show or not, but there's often a nearby hotel that kind of hosts the overflow of companies that actually want to be there as well.
Yeah, so that was kind of another thing that I got to take a quick peek at when I was out there. So there was, Munich high end or high end society Munich, and Hi-Fi Deluxe, which was a whole separate show. Started, I think, like the day after Munich did, but it was over at a Marriott hotel pretty close by. And I got to make a trip over there, but it was mostly just to kind of catch up with our good friends with Seawave. They didn't get into the full Munich show, but it seemed like there was a lot of brands still over at Hi-Fi Deluxe. So I mean, like, that's just, I mean, that's how big it was. There was a convention center full of exhibitors and rooms, and then there was a whole separate hotel with a separate show happening, like, days after, staggered. So I mean, it is quite an event to plan for.
Yeah. So just to back up a bit, because in years past, we to back even further up, annually we would exhibit at CES for many years in Vegas. And once that started becoming less relevant for the real high-end part of the market, we started transitioning to the Munich show. And what's interesting is that we didn't get the same fancy our own room and suite the same way we did in Vegas. But as far as exhibiting at Munich, traveling out there, getting gear out there, it was less expensive than going to Vegas. And the experience and the quality of traffic and the number of our distributors that would show up that we could meet with was far better at Munich than it was at Vegas. So that was a pleasant change for us. So we exhibited for several years, and then COVID, and then we've the last couple, and then last year we weren't able to go, and this year we weren't able to arrange it in time, and so we did not exhibit this year, but we were going to send one of us to go and at least meet with our distributors and a lot of people that wanted to catch up with us and get the scoop on the changes there and where we're headed and all that, and as well as meet some other companies and see what's new in the market. So you went, I didn't. Last second, it all worked.
Yeah.
So that's the quick backstory of it all.
Yeah, I mean, I was quite surprised we were able to get the plane ticket changed and flipped over to me, and I'm traveling out there in less than 24 hours. It was
Short notice, yeah.
my first trip to Europe in general.
Wow.
And so it was it was a
Yeah.
lot to take on. I'm trying to search like things that I need to be conscientious of as I'm like traveling out there, you know.
Yeah. It's pretty easy, which I hope you experience. You know, it's not hard. It's a pretty easy trip. I mean it's a painful trip. Just for sitting on an airplane that long is not trivial, but overall it's pretty easy. And the language, people in Munich is a very diverse community, and there's a high percentage of English speakers. So you can get around, you can make do there really well. And big thanks to Willie Bauer, our German distributor, for meeting you at the airport, finding a hotel, getting you all sorted out when you arrived.
That made a big difference right there. I mean, just getting settled in and just like kind of getting the initial layout of the land before having to hit the ground running with the show the next day, basically. I mean, like that was super important. I mean, oh no, Willie. Yeah, Willie. Yeah, Willie. Our good friend Willie Bauer with Bauer Audio, and then got to hang out with Thomas Kunzler as well. So Thomas and Willie of Bauer Audio, they made me feel like very welcome guests.
They are the best.
Yeah.
And I don't say that lightly.
Yeah, so kind of funny surprise. I flew out 2 seats behind my good buddy Travis that I worked with over at PS Audio with, and we as soon as we touched down, he snuck me out of the airport super fast. He knew the way to get out really quickly, and we ran right into Willie, and so the 3 of us caught a beer as soon as we settled into Munich. And
okay.
This is the first beer right here with me and Travis and Willie.
Yeah. I think every time they're flown in, we go out to the outdoor atrium area.
Yeah.
And there's there's a big airplane out there, and a food truck, and then the beer garden there. It's a great beer garden. It's a nice big one, outdoor seating, well, outdoor with kind of an awning, I forget, but there's trees. It's great. Speaking of beer garden, we skipped our first point of our videos here.
That's my fault. I've had so much beer over the last week. I'm just like, it's like water. I need to.
Yeah. I forgot to make sure you brought an extra suitcase and brought home an extra suitcase of beer. There's such short notice. I forgot to arrange that.
Yeah, I just took my carry-on, but yeah. So I'm having another Pints with Air classic. I have a White Rascal from our good friends Avery. They're so close, and they have so much to pick from, and everything is so good. And it's a Belgian style white ale, this White Rascal, and it's 5.6% alcohol by volume. And I feel like Colorado brews are a little stronger than some of the ones that I've encountered out there,
especially Avery.
Yeah, they're usually a couple points higher, it seems. So I was able to go through a lot more German beer than I can Avery typically. But yeah, I have a White Rascal, and you have something even stronger than this. Yeah,
you left this in the fridge for me. So the Avery Night Warden, so whiskey barrel aged stout. It's this. Yeah, I don't have this one often, but this one's delicious. It's, that whiskey barrel aged. It's nice and rich and smooth. It's a little bit stronger, but so I think I'm done with work for the day after this one.
That's some of my favorite though. I mean, we're there's so many beers that are trying to taste like a bouquet of flowers almost these days that
Yeah.
I I like me a good whiskey barrel aged stout.
Nice dark. Yeah, it's you see that you cannot see through that one. It's great. Love it.
Yeah. I mean so Munich is just beautiful. I mean, there's just like the whole town is like a museum. I mean, I was just I did a lot of walking when I was out there, and I only brought my dress shoes, and so that led to a little bit of an injury to the tail end of my trip there. But I did a lot of walking and saw a lot of the city, and it's just beautiful. I love seeing the history so well preserved there. It's like they don't feel the need to modernize it and get rid of all these awesome old structures.
Yeah. Yeah, there's plenty of modern buildings there as well, but it's not like they're tearing down old buildings, but a modern buildings. So it's sort of, I mean, there's a big mix of really old and modern, in a lot of ways. Yeah. So what was the reason for all your walking? I mean, part of it's great to walk around Munich. I mean, that's just how you get around naturally, but I hear there's another part to the extra walking.
One part is that I am a travel noob, and in the States, it's so easy to just drive wherever you need to. You just get in your car, you drive right up to where you need to be, and you get out. And there's aspects of my maps that I didn't even really know existed. And so it wasn't until I think like the third day I was there where it was actually Josh Meredith and Angela Cardis Meredith who kind of made it known to me I can hit transit on my maps, and it will actually show you and it'll show you walking instructions to the subway and like where the closest train pickup is. And I didn't do that. I walked to my hotel and I said, well, I know the downtown station is that way, so I'm going to walk towards the downtown station. And walked past several like underground accessible train spots, and so
But I thought the train stopped running at one point.
well, that was the next part. Yeah, so
Yeah,
there was there was so one part I'm a noob, and two part there was a transportation strike. So as I touch down and get heavily involved in conversation with our good friend Willie Bauer about how I don't need a car in Germany because the public transportation is so good. I wake up to an email a day later saying that they're to anticipate a strike. So so yeah, it was unexpected, but not anything that I haven't experienced before in my life. I've experienced strikes in other aspects. I mean, the whole reason I moved to Colorado was because of a writers strike in Hollywood.
Oh, right.
But, there's strikes happen. So I got a little extra walking in because of it. So it was maybe a blessing in disguise. I feel like if I go back at this point now, I could probably walk around Munich and know the layout of the town a little bit better.
Yeah. The next time I go, I'm definitely tempted to either rent a bike or rent a scooter sometimes just to get around, because that's I'm pretty sure there's the same kind of city bikes that you can rent there, just like you can here. You can I think there's those public rental bikes.
Yeah, and Denver has a lot of those just electric scooters left all over the place. It seems like there's quite a bit of those out in Munich as well. But yeah, I've been saying the next time I go, I'll fly out with a skateboard and probably rent a motorcycle or something too, just to kind of get the full experience. But and we've had a lot of bicyclists in Ayres history, and I've heard stories of some of our people that we've been affiliated with, maybe Steve Silverman, who would travel with his bicycle to places like that.
Yeah.
I think I'll take a skateboard.
Okay.
It's just as efficient around there. Yeah, a lot. I mean, so I got a chance to see a lot of the town. Got to make some really cool meetings happen with some of our big supporters. I mean, I got to meet with our guy. Well, I'm on the opposite side, but Denny Josie from India. So I got to meet Denny, who's with Bass and Treble from India, and he just had a baby, I think like 2 months ago. So the dude's not sleeping as it is, and you know, he's traveling to Munich, so he's probably jet lagged as can be at this point. But that was a great meeting, and Ivan with Norman Audio in Singapore. Ivan, I think, has probably been one of our biggest supporters over the years. In many ways, you know, he's always been behind us and has Ayre's best interests in mind. And you know,
yeah. I've got great memories of Ivan, especially at particularly at CES when we were in Vegas. Like we would see him half dozen times a day. He would come back to our room. That was his kind of his kind of home base, and he would go out and come back. He would we often had a really big suite there, and we had a meeting room and a side room, and we'd often find him napping in the other room. He would fall asleep in the other room. He was he's another deep part of the Ayre family.
Oh yeah, for sure. He's just exudes positivity, and he got to see a lot of the people that I was meaning to meet with before I did, and was able to link us up. And so he was very helpful, very helpful. Got to make some new connections here or there. I mean, I stopped into the Rado room, and you know, our friends at Decent Audio in the UK, they've been showing Ayre and Rado together over the last year or so at some of their shows and events out there. And so I made a point to stop into this room, and boy, I was really impressed. I mean, they are some of my favorite speakers that I got a chance to hear there, and collectively with my experience at AXPONA. I mean, it's quite amazing. I walked in and these little guys were, I turned off my mirroring. These little ones were playing, and they just they had the easiest time filling that entire room. It was a bigger room, and odd dimensions, and those little speakers just commanded that room, no problem. So yeah, the Rado guys, my new friend Morton over at Rado, and we might do some stuff together. And then I popped into the Borison room, which I guess was founded by the same guy, Michael Borison, who he started Rado and then moved over to Borison. So they've got some similar DNA in the tweeter there, in that ribbon tweeter, that planar driver there. But everything else is quite different, but equally as impressed. I mean, both of those speakers were just very, very pleasing to the ear. Another one that was kind of interesting that I popped into were these guys, Odeon. Odeon. So they're a German horn company, and I popped in here because our friends over in Sweden at Perfect Sense, Marcus Fordel over there, they rep Odeon and sell Odeon, and thought it would be a good opportunity to kind of just check them out, because they were next to YG and Rado, and so it was easy for me to bounce in here, and they're really cool. I did like these. I don't know if there was I think there was a missing link in the electronics maybe, but I did really enjoy the aesthetics and a lot about these speakers. They were pretty cool. I guess because of C-Wave, I'm getting into horns now. So Sea Wave has gotten me excited about horn speakers a bit. The YG room, I think, was probably one of my favorite in general. I mean, like the sound, the layout. I mean, they had some of the coolest acoustic treatment job done in there. Just like the big, probably the one of the more big, open, inviting spaces to come into, and you can just see everything on display from the reference to the new Peak stuff, and just they had a full house. I mean, I got to meet pretty much everyone at YG. I think the only guy who wasn't there was Gary Mulder, and we get to hang out with Gary anyway. So that so I guess I'll give him a pass on that one. But yeah, they had a full house, and it was great to just get to connect with them. I mean, I got a long talk in with Steve. No, that's Steve. Steve Huntley over there, and it's just really nice to hear kind of all the stuff that they're doing, because that they're just it's a great company, it's a great product, and I know they've gone through some changes and transition in the last couple of years, but I mean, from what I can tell, they're probably in the best hands that they've been in a long time, and looking forward to some partnerships with YG and Cardis maybe down the road here soon too. There's going to be some really great showings, I think, with fun as the core theme of that, because we're the three of us are really fun brands, and we can make some great music happen, and so that's something to look out for. Oh man. And so I walked around a little bit. There was a lot of cool cars. I'm a big car nerd, so I was able to see some fun car stuff. I think that this is basically like, I beg your patience, student driver here. So student driver on the Porsche, and sweet little Husqvarna here on the street, and just like $1 million Ferrari on the street, just parked in the middle of the street here. And right across from the venue, there was this thing called Motor World, which I had no idea about. Motor World.
Yep.
You're nodding your head like you know about Motor World.
I've seen it. I don't know about it. But,
okay. Well,
I've seen the signs for it, but I've never seen it active. Whenever I walked by, I remember seeing it active.
So this is one of my big regrets from my trip, because it was right across the street from the venue, and I didn't walk over there to check it out further. But there was nonstop cool cars just pulling up the entire time. But I got to see photos from other people. There's just like McLarens, Porsches, and Mercedes, and all kinds of really cool cars kind of parked throughout the place. Looks like there's hotel, restaurant, event center. I'm thinking maybe Ayre private party at the Motor World next year, but it looks like a venue that I could definitely jive with. Got to pop over to like the little Vivid display. I didn't get a chance to talk with Lawrence Dickey. He was such, he's a rock star, so like he was just people were around him all the time, just trying to talk to him, and I should have went over and interrupted, but I got a nice close up of this lovely S12 here, and love those guys, love their speakers quite a bit. The MBL room was fun. So I got to catch up with our friend Jeremy over at MBL, and I got to meet Jurg over
Jurgen Reese.
Yeah, Jurgen at MBL. So I had a brief talk about, just very quick brief talk about Charlie over there. But yeah, he definitely had some fond memories there. And they had these two gentlemen playing upright bass and cello in the room, and my big head is in the way. See, but yeah, they were playing upright bass and cello live for people in the room, and then playing excerpts from a recording that they were featured on shortly after, and just to kind of convey some of that that ambience that the radial Staller drivers can provide. And,
Yeah.
you know, it's fun. I like to see those kind of interactive demonstrations like that.
Yeah.
Instead of just someone playing music all day. Just, you know, actually see some performance too.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So yeah, and then the meetup over at Seawave was so that I can get my ears on this new speaker that they unveiled here. That this is called the Do Star. So this is one of the things you missed out on. It's pretty awesome. It's kind of their flagship conventional speaker, I guess, because they, you know, they're not just a horn company, but you know, that is a single piece enclosure for the cabinet. So all one piece of their cast mold, aluminum, magnesium, and then I think it's dual 11-inch Eaton woofers and the Hanji paper mid-range, and then their in-house made super beryllium tweeter there. And it was amazing. I mean, I was blown away. They have an amazing recipe in general for all their speakers. I think I'm still a little more spinning on the horn speaker, but you know, for a conventional speaker, that new Do Star, as they call it, it was really awesome. But yeah, got our friend Kevin here. Kevin Min with Seawave. Got a chance to go out to dinner with them, and there was a bigger group this time. They had a couple translators with them, so we had kind of off to this side over here, this young fella from college that out in Munich, he's studying like software development, and they hired him as a translator. And then one of these gals here in the middle, Miss Moon was another translator who lives in Munich, so she speaks Korean and English and German, and they did it right this time. They had a bunch of people that can speak, and got to experience ordering beer by the liter, which is kind of a nice change. It's like I don't have to get refills. I can just get a liter of beer.
Yeah. You can do that in Boulder. We've got the Bohemian Beer Garden in Boulder that we should we might have to do we have to do an on-site Pints with Air someday soon, a lunch at the beer garden.
Yeah,
we used to go occasionally for work lunches there. It's been a while. We need to bring that back.
Yeah, I've learned that I need a bit of a technology upgrade. I mean, I really wanted to do like a Pints with Air thing out in the field there, but you know, internationally your data is kind of throttled in some cases. At least on my plan it was, and I had to purchase these data plans, and because I had no idea where I was going, I'd use my maps, and that would just eat the data away. You know, so I'd walk 10-15 minutes and I'd get a notice that I've used most of my data already. So it was more things to just learn and be prepared for next year. I just need a little more time and some Wi-Fi, and we can make that happen. I mean, even though he's super close to us, and I didn't get him in the photo here, I got to see Ari at our ender, and
excellent.
And let's see what else did I do. Yeah, I thought it was kind of funny. I made this nice. I met with Ari, and I made this great connection with YG, and they're like the closest people to us. And you know, I didn't have to go to Munich to meet with those guys and tighten us up.
Yeah.
But it was good to do it while we were there. Yeah, so my injury was pretty funny too. I mean, it was just I kind of rolled my ankle a little bit when I had like a bunch of weight on me, and then just all of the extra walking and the weight from the bags. And by the time on Saturday, because I had to fly out right after I did all my walking and my train traveling and stuff to get to the venue fully loaded, and by the time I got there, it was just like I was in pain. So I saw this green and white cross and just kind of started walking towards that. And made it known I was hurt and I needed help, and like everyone was so nice. They're like, "Oh my gosh, come in, sit down. You're really in pain. Let's take care of you." And I had these paramedics come in, and they start, asking me some questions, and they look at my foot, and then they start talking to each other in German, all serious, and then I just kind of look up all scared. I'm like, "We got to cut it off, huh?" And and they just started cracking up, and so I did my best to kind of keep them laughing about the situation, because who wants to work on like someone's stinky feet and bandage you up, right? So
Yeah.
I had to make light of the situation, but they were great. They bandaged me up, got me ice packs, and like I checked back in before I left to say thanks again, and they were like, "Come in, sit down. Let's get you another ice pack. Let's get you taken care of before you leave." And so, yeah, it was awesome experience. I mean, I interacted with a lot of the staff at the event itself, and they were all really good. They made me feel very welcome, and like I wasn't as lost and like
Yeah.
a tourist or something.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They've always been. I mean, it's a really well-run show. All the logistics and staff. It's really seamless. It's a really, really, really well run.
Yeah,
Really well. Yeah.
man, I really wish you were there, because there was I mentioned this already, but there was this fun time where I saw this gentleman walk right out in front of me, and I was like, in my head, man, Rick Rubin's all the way out here, and I was kind of joking with myself, and then I realized after the fact, oh, it was Rick Rubin. Yeah, he's our guy. He's our boy.
Yeah. Yeah. We need to catch up with him.
um, we partnered with Acoustic Signature turntables too at the AXPONA show, in the home audio room, and
Yep.
I actually ran into Michael Holm while I was out there. So our guy from Chicago, and I ended up walking around for a couple hours checking things out. But he took me over to the Acoustic Signature turntable booth, and they had some amazing stuff on display. I'm starting to really get into turntables as of right now, because of some of the projects that we have on the docket. But
Yeah.
I'm more of a CD guru, I guess, or digital guru. But I'm really kind of starting to geek out on the world of turntables a bit more. And
Yeah. Yeah. There's something to be said for vinyl. It is special. And it has it. Yeah. I won't say too much yet, but it's
well,
not to be ignored. It's not to be shunned. It has its place.
yeah. Well, I mean, in the end, we're doing everything we can to convert our digital to analog. So,
Sure.
let's just
It can be preserved. Yeah.
kind of in the age old Air philosophy of just do it right the first time. It's kind of the
Yeah.
way I see it almost.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah. So I want to jump in. So, you're talking about, your foot injury. It reminds me I mean, last time I was there. And so the background I have here is the Allianz Arena, the Bayern Munich home stadium. And so last time I was there, so I'm a big soccer football fan. And so our Willie finally found that out, and so he's got connections and access to tickets, and so he made sure to take he took myself and Brian over at Cardis Audio, and we went to the Bayern Munich game on Saturday night. Friday or Saturday, it was 4 or 5 years ago, and which was amazing. My only regret was that I did not bring good shoes that year, and after a full day on the floor on the trade show floor, my feet were absolutely killing me. And so then we headed out to go to the game, and feet absolutely killing me. We get to the stadium, and we're in the standing room only section, and like in the like local fans section, standing room only. And like it was amazing to be there. I was almost in tears, just like I was in so much pain trying to watch that game. I was like trying to like sit down occasionally and just and almost, in the standing room only section, there's so much beer being spilled. There's almost it's almost like a beer fountain just kind of cascading down the standing room only section. It's like trying to like squat or sit on those steps, but it's just anyway, it was great, and was hoping to do again this year, and because there was a game Saturday night. It's a big game, and I don't want to spoil it too much. It was probably not great for the Munich fans for the overall season. But sorry I missed that, especially.
Sounds like it would have been a good excuse for some Weiss beer.
Yeah, rice beer and a bratwurst. Yeah, and really has the system down. There's a spot to get food before you go in. On the walk in, there's some stands there to get your sausage, get your pretzel, get your bratwurst. Anyway, it was awesome. Next year, assuming there's a home game that weekend, which are usually, at least the past few years, it has been, I'll plan on making sure to stay for that one.
Yeah, my two of the things on my bucket list that I want to do when I go back out there is I want to visit the Warwick Bass Factory, and I'm gonna bring you with me. It's like 5 or 6 hours north of Munich, I think.
Oh.
It's a trek, but we're gonna go because it's gonna be like one of the most inspiring things ever, just from like a production and technological standpoint. I mean, they have the Warwick Bass and Framus Guitar Factory is probably one of the most advanced facilities out there, and they are, I think, completely self-sufficient, self-sustainable. I mean, they gather every little bit of sawdust that they generate and they use it to heat the facility. They're completely solar powered. They all the wood chips and leftover pieces of wood that can't go into a guitar really, they end up in the floor somehow. So there's some rooms that just have like beautiful babinga wood for the hardwood flooring and stuff. So they reuse everything, and
That's awesome.
I think they generate more energy than they use there because of their solar and then their sawdust heating of the whole facility. But they've
Awesome.
been way ahead of the curve, and I got to connect with my friend Herman Greer from SPL out there, Sound Performance Lab, and I had met him in Montreal a few years back when I was doing my Focal Name North America dealer thing for some of my friends, and we hit it off right away. And like he recognized me as he was walking up, and we geeked out for probably an hour. And he had heard of Ayre, and I was showing him some of our stuff, like the KXR. I was going through my phone and showing him like photos of the circuits and the actual like video of it in action internally, and I think I saw a little tear shed from his eye, like just I think deep down his German engineer inside of him just was really appreciative of what we do. But I love those guys. They make some really cool pro and hi-fi gear, and they do some pretty unique stuff, and I like SPL, so I want to go visit those guys too, among many other things. I mean, those are just two at the top of my list that I've been wanting to do for a long time. But yeah, we need to make it out there.
Yeah. I mean, I've been a few times, and I still haven't even made it to the English Gardens, just on the west side of the city, or the river surfing spot. I still haven't seen that. There's a few notable things in Munich that still haven't made it to. Been to quite a few of the beer gardens.
I would expect nothing less.
Yes. I know most of them at this point. But yeah, I know. Yeah, you know, obviously we like beer. I love the beer there. I really enjoy the food there. You know, there's the traditional food, and there's a wide variety of, you know, of other foods there as well. And it's all fantastic.
Yeah, that first night there, when I was hanging out with Thomas from Bauer Audio, we went to this Israeli restaurant, and that was amazing. And when I went out with the Seawave team, we went to this German restaurant, Wursthaus Zerbrezen, and man,
It looks familiar. I'm pretty sure I've been there.
that was delicious. I mean, I had like this roast duck and potato dumplings and cabbage and that liter of beer, but I mean, such just unique savory flavoring. Oh my goodness. I
Yeah.
spared everyone the photos of my half-eaten duck here, but gosh, it was amazing. So like that made me realize that like that's just like the tip of the iceberg almost. There's just so much more stuff I need to try there now.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot to see, a lot to do, there's a lot to eat, there's a lot to drink. It's it is a great week to go. I usually come back pretty spent and feeling very full. So I usually have to detox and fast for a couple days after I get back. But I wouldn't miss it.
Yeah, it was invaluable though. I mean, like if I wasn't meeting with like one of our distribution partners from anywhere in the world, I mean, like I think that there was only a couple of our distributors around the globe that didn't make it, but like
Yeah, exactly.
the majority were there. If I wasn't
Yep.
meeting with them, I was making new friends like with Rado or Borison, and if I wasn't doing that, I was meeting with, you know, part suppliers and developers. Like I chatted with like the Mundorf guys for a little bit, and DS Audio, and a few other like really cool um, companies, Streams Unlimited, Suos for their more for the optical stuff, you know, like there's so yeah, product development, strengthening our brand and friend relationships with our partners, and then just and yeah, making new partnerships, because there's some of these brands that we definitely have some mutual appreciation for, and they don't maybe come out to the States as often, and so it'd be nice to partner with them or meet up with them in some of these international shows too. So it was all good stuff. It was all good stuff. I would have loved to exhibit, but with it being my first Munich, I mean, I took so many notes, and I think I got a lot more. I covered a lot more ground, not having to be
Yeah.
stuck in a room.
Yeah. 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 I mean, yeah, you definitely would not have covered nearly as much ground had we been showing there. You know, yeah, you really get, you know, you can kind of get out for a few minutes here and there, but yeah, you're really limited. So yeah, I think it was definitely good that you went solo and we're free, we're able to see everything, see everybody. I think it was probably really, really, really valuable.
Yeah. Well, so now we have, I guess as soon as we're done with this, we need to start planning for next year.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
Oh man. Well, we will make it count. I think that's maybe a wrap for me and my catching up for now. I mean, there's probably stuff that I'm forgetting. I mean, it was a
Yeah.
fun weekend. Got to hang out with David and Solomon and the whole Cobuzz team, all of the Cobuzz people. I kind of just serendipitously crashed in with them too. So that was another fun contact. But gosh, yeah. So of course, right as soon as I say something, I think of another thing. But yeah, no end in sight in all the connections made and awesome experiences had. So come to Munich next year, everyone. Come and hang
Yeah.
out there.
Yeah, that's right. We'll do something fun.
Yeah, we'll have Ariel take us to a soccer game. But yeah, cheers, Ariel. I'm all out.
Likewise.
Yeah, awesome. Mission accomplished. All right. Well, happy Friday, everyone. Thanks for tuning in, and have a great weekend. We'll see you soon.
Cheers.
Cheers. Prost.